alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another MotoVlog. I know it's been a while, been quite busy, haven't had a lot of chance to ride, but alhamdulillah we got a couple warm days. Even though it's November, Maryland will surprise you like that. So we have a couple warm days, and I figured try to get a ride in this today. So alhamdulillah, nice weather. I think it's about 70 degrees, perfect riding weather, alhamdulillah. It's a friendly rider right there. The road is super messed up here. I hate unpaved road when you're on a motorcycle. Bismillah. All right. So yeah, the topic I have for you today is horoscopes. Now, I'm speaking about horoscopes because number one, people ask me this question quite a bit. Number two, it seems to be quite common. Like there seems to be a lot of people, like a lot of Muslims, into horoscopes. What I mean by that is, you know, people often put on like their Twitter profile or their Instagram profile. They'll be like, oh, I'm, you know, a Virgo, or I'm a Sagittarius, or this or that, or whatever. But actuality, this is actually a very serious topic. Horoscopes are related to, actually, you know, some people don't make this connection. They may not think of this connection, but there's a connection with fortune telling. And there's some very serious hadith that deal with fortune telling. For example, the Prophet ﷺ said that a person who goes to a fortune teller and believes them, then it is as if, or the Prophet said, then certainly they have disbelieved in what has been revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now this hadith is dealing with what? It's dealing with disbelief. So the Prophet is telling us that to go to fortune tellers or soothsayers or somebody who can tell your future, right? Whether it be a palm reader or whatever version of that it may be. Prophet actually referred to this as an act of disbelief, which is a very serious thing. And that's why, like, we should be so careful to stay away from this. And then I know people often say the response that you get from people is, well, I don't believe it, right? I just do it for fun. It's interesting to me. It's a social thing, but I don't really believe it. Well, there's another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he said that a person who goes to a soothsayer, not believing in what they have to say, then their prayer will not be accepted for 40 days. And this is a person who, once again, like, doesn't believe it. They're just like curious. Prophet said their prayer will not be accepted for 40 days. And that's, once again, very serious. It's not as serious as disbelief, but it's still serious. And one of the things people say is like, well, why is it that we find these serious hadith? Like, why is like disbelief? You know, your prayer not being accepted. I mean, what's the big deal? Now, one of the things that I can tell you is that Islam and the rulings of Islam came to protect us from one of the things it does is it came to protect us from those things that will ruin our tawheed, and that is ruin our connection with Allah, ruin our worship of Allah alone, ruin our spirituality. So if you really look at what something like horoscopes does, or fortune telling, or going to fortune telling, what it really does, if you break it down, is that it chips away at our spirituality. It chips away at our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Slowly but surely, right? Because what's happening? Well, instead of relying upon Allah, we start relying upon these type of things. Instead of seeking Allah's help, we start seeking the help of these things. Instead of putting our trust in Allah, well, we start putting our trust in these type of matters. Instead of seeking the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we start seeking guidance through these matters. And all of that, you know, maybe not once or twice or whatever, but eventually what that's going to do is that's going to chip away at your spirituality, chip away at your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the most important thing in this world. That is your spirituality, that is your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us for His worship. مَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I haven't created jinn nor mankind except for my worship. That's spirituality, that connection with Allah is the purpose of our existence. So that's why these things, that's why you find these serious hadith dealing with this, because the Islam doesn't want for us to delve in these matters that will affect that spirituality. And so that's why we stay away from this. And other matters as well, right? People who wear stuff for protection, right? Amulets, and like wearing these amulets we know is a form of minor shirk, right? And depending on what we believe about it. But wearing these amulets is so dangerous because what? Because instead of relying upon Allah, instead of trusting upon Allah, we start trusting upon these amulets, these necklaces, or these wristbands, or whatever it may be. And that goes against the very essence of our worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It goes against the essence of our spirituality, and that's why Islam has nothing to do with this. And so these matters, whether it be, like I said, fortune telling, or soothsayers, or going to a palm reader, or somebody tells you they can tell you your future, or horoscopes, or sorry about that. Yeah, horoscopes and all of this, it eats away at that spirituality, and we want to keep our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pure and direct. That's why we don't even rely upon, even subhanAllah, and I know this is like semi controversial, but even asking other people to make dua for you. Look, it's fine, you can ask others to make dua for you, and that's cool, but dua is how we connect with Allah. So we should always first make dua for ourselves, and yeah, then we can ask other people to make dua for us. But when somebody says, make dua for me, if I know that person well, I'll be like, okay, but make sure you make dua for yourself first, because that is the essence of our worship, right? That is as the Prophet said, ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah. Dua is worship, meaning it's the essence of our worship. That's what that's a big part of our worship. And so all of these matters, it's there to keep our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pure. And I hope this clarifies some of those issues. By the way, another manifestation of this people may not realize is fortune cookies. Now I know somebody's saying, oh, what, now fortune cookies are haram? But fortune cookies, look, I mean, I know most people don't believe it, right? But still, it's not about believing it. Like I said, the hadith says that, it mentions a prayer not being accepted for 40 days, which is still dangerous enough. So fortune cookies, look, I know there's some fortune cookies that they don't have fortunes, they just have like sayings and stuff like that, or quotes. Those are fine. But ones that actually tell you your fortune or your lucky numbers and things like that, those are ones that we want to stay away from. So yeah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.